Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Absolutely, where we absolutely have a good time. Today, we're going to be giving you guys a reaction to the Ghostbusters video. And since we're going to play the trailer live here on the video, that means we're not going to make any money off this video. So if you want to support us, go to thishotsauceis.com. Support us by picking up our hot sauce. It is whiskey-infused hot sauce, hatch and jalapeno. It is not alcoholic, so don't worry about that. And it's great on everything. Because apparently whenever I name a specific food, people think that that is all we made it for.
Yeah.
Everything. Sal, you could put this on ice cream, and I'm telling you, it'll taste great.
Only for ice cream.
Oh, no! Don't do that to me! Anyway, if you want to support us, please check it out. All right, let's see. Ghostbusters. Sal and I are big Ghostbusters fans.
Woo.
Let's check her out, Sal.
Let's watch the trailer for the trailer.
It's all dark and horny at 12 o'clock.
That would have been funny to see.
I've been waiting 40 years for this.
They called themselves Ghostbusters. According to these hacks, they saved the world. No eyewitnesses.
Okay, hold on. Already, they're like, okay. We know we did the crappy reboot. We know we did the other one, and we kind of got the old cast into it. But this time, they agreed to show up.
Yeah, this time, they're in the movie big time.
Like
okay.
I feel like that's what we're doing right here at the beginning, just to remind you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're showing you showing you stills from a movie from 50 years ago. Like
right, because they're like, guys, don't you remember when Ghostbusters was good?
I mean, most of the audience doesn't. No, like they're too young.
You know what's a fun side note, and remind me after this. But Back to the Future, I looked into more of that, but I'll talk about that in a minute.
All right, cool.
And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler. You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
Has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished.
Right, well,
Overruled.
Sustained.
thank you.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Also, you know, we're reacting, guys. If you want to watch the trailer uninterrupted, go watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's nothing stopping you.
I was actually excited Paul Rudd was in the first one,
Yeah,
and I was very sad when Paul Rudd really wasn't in the first one that much.
me too.
So I'm glad that it looks like
Yeah.
he's in this movie more.
Yeah, it's actually kind of brilliant. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I love Paul Rudd. I'm in.
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
What is it?
Better question is, what's inside of it?
The parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. With the power to kill by fear itself.
Like literally scared to death?
We might be looking at a second ice age.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work. Can I be of any help? Melnitz in uniform. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. He
Yeah.
is aged finally.
I mean, like,
Finally.
look,
He's like 80 something, isn't he?
I assume he's looked 55 for 50 years.
No, I agree. So I said he
Like-
like instantly aged finally. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he looked like that in the last movie.
I
And
feel
that
like
was
it's going to be
a few years
Keanu
ago.
Reeves at some point. Where it's just going to be, we're going to see him one movie, he looks normal. Next movie, boom.
Hey, it's me. Whoa. Yeah.
But the fact that he's on board gives me hope for this. So if you don't know the story of why it took so long to make Ghostbusters 3,
Mhm.
they weren't actually allowed to, or they refused to move
The
forward
idea-
without
they were-
everyone's approval.
Everyone had to sign off. Bill Murray was one of those like holdouts because he was just like, he doesn't think about it as a franchise. He couldn't care less. And he was like, I don't want to do it if it sucks. And he was really unhappy with how the second one turned out.
Right.
So, it was a holdout for a good long time. And yeah, and it took them forever to finally get it off the ground. The other problem was the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon while it was like fun and beloved by like a handful of fans, it failed as a viable franchise. It didn't sell the toys necessary, and as a result, like
It's back in that age when toys, if it didn't sell toys, the product was a bust.
exactly. And it told the studio basically like Ghostbusters is not a franchise we need to invest money or time or effort into. It's not worth it to like push it. Then when they rebooted it with the Paul Feig Ghostbusters series, that was like Bill Murray's in that movie too, and he was threatened litigation if he didn't appear. So I don't know if like it's the same horrible people
Paul
involved at
Feig
the
is the
studio level.
crappy 2016 one, or is that the one?
Bingo.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, no,
That's
from
right.
what I understand, yeah, they threatened him with litigation because what he was doing was he wasn't ever saying no, he just wasn't responding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so they were like, if he says no, or if he doesn't endorse the movie, the audience isn't going to get on board. And it's like, well, it didn't work out either way. But yeah, no, this is a whole. This looks like, okay, screw it. Like the dam's been breached. We did the third one. That movie was really self-referential and incredibly like exploitative in its own way, because like there's a lot of Harold Ramis in there. They resurrected a dead person using CGI. Like it's a lot of stuff in that movie, but they're in it and they did it and it's over. And so now it's like, oh well, now we can like tell a story. Like now we can just do whatever. And I understand they're very heavily influenced by the real Ghostbusters cartoon, which is arguably a franchise like unto itself. So yeah, and we'll talk about more about this when we get to the end, because I think I have a theory about what they're doing with this whole Ghostbusters franchise.
I just wanted to
and
bring
this
up
movie.
seeing Bill Murray actually acting in this one as opposed to going up for a cameo actually gives me hope for this movie.
Same here.
Because he was the holdout.
I know. I'm genuinely hopeful. Like there's a post-credit scene in Afterlife where Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver are doing a bit, and I'm like, oh, what a lovely moment.
Yeah.
And it's like I rewatched Ghostbusters 2 recently because I have it on 4K now, and I'm like, this movie holds up. Like it's really fun, and most importantly, it's really about the chemistry between Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray, and just all those scenes are just magic. I kind of like just want more Bill Murray being funny. Well, can we do that?
Bill Murray's one of those actors that can just show up and be himself, and I love it. I still go back to his appearance in Zombieland like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
where he was just Bill Murray.
Why not? Exactly, because essentially that's what the audience is asking for. Especially at that point, they were like, just put Bill Murray in a movie and we'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, like there's certain actors that if they're just in a movie, I don't care about the movie. I'm just gonna go see it.
Exactly.
You know, The Rock was on that list until more recently, when it's just like, okay, you take a break, buddy. I think you need to calm down. Come back strong.
Remove the like I can't be hurt clause in your contract, and maybe people will
Kevin Hart's on that list right now, though. If Kevin Hart's in the movie, I'll just go see it.
That's fair.
I found him hilarious. All right,
I know.
It's in uniform. Yeah.
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, who are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else?
What?
Oh God.
Buster makes me feel good. Makes me feel good.
Yay.
Heads up. It's all dark and horny at 12 o'clock.
Kind of a one joke in here.
Yeah. Man. Sony is so stupid.
Hold on, we got the post-credit scene to the trailer.
Yep. Sony is so weird. Like they think we like or care about the wrong stuff. You know, like the entire marketing for Afterlife was just looking at the car. Like they were just they thought we were so excited to just only care about like the tech. I love the tech. I love Ghostbusters tech so much. It's like what I expect steampunk to be. You know, like everyone loves steampunk, or at least there was a small 6-year window where people were like, steampunk is amazing. And I'm always like, it looks unfinished. And it's because I'm really thinking of Ghostbusters tech. I'm just like, it just garage tech. You know, I like that. But their big like moment, like their big money shot trailer moment at the end was the drone trap and the blaster shooting a ghost. They were like, yeah, right. And I'm like, this is a comedy action adventure franchise. If it's funny, we won't give a crap. It doesn't matter. Now, look, it was cutting edge technology in Ghostbusters 1. So it helped to ground the movie if the movie looked like a Ray Harryhausen picture, it would not have landed. It wouldn't have been as funny because it wouldn't have been as believable.
Yeah.
But the fun stuff is the characters. And if that's what this movie is, it won't matter what Sony's trying to do. They'll achieve it by accident.
Yeah.
Now, here's my theory about this. And I am talking
Okay.
a lot, but it's Ghostbusters.
Oh, no, you're fine. I mean, I knew you would. Hence why I
Right?
was like, let's do a video of Ghostbusters. We
Do
both
Ghostbusters.
do Ghostbusters. And
That'll be half an hour. I think they're building 3 teams. Like, I think they're making 3 franchises out of Ghostbusters. I think there's the junior franchise. They're not going to call it that, but I think it's the junior franchise with Wolfhard and McKenna Grace and whatnot. Like the kids, the Kid Busters. That's one franchise.
Kid Busters will probably be a name they would use.
Right? Like that's the future. Right. Then there's the New Busters, and the New Busters could be the Paul Rudd Busters, which has Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon, but also you saw they introduced 2 other incredibly funny people who are also happy to be in franchise pictures: Kumail Nanjiani and Patton Oswalt.
Yep.
You put Patton Oswalt, Kumail Nanjiani, Paul Rudd, and Carrie Coon into a movie, suddenly that's a Ghostbusters I want to watch. Oh my God, that's team 2. And then you've got the classic Ghostbusters. It's literally the entire team, sans the dead ones, replacing Harold Ramis with Janine.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Like, that's really smart. They're like, look, we could make 3 Ghostbusters franchises where, like, okay, maybe Bill Murray's not going to show up anymore. Maybe this is the last one he's willing to do. But if we did like a old Busters CG sequel series or an animated sequel, or we just did like shorts that promoted the rest of the Busters, that relegates those Busters over there. The new Buster, because like, look, for the longest time, every decade that they didn't make a Ghostbusters 3, there was a new class of Saturday Night Live actors that we were like, oh, well, that could be the Ghostbusters. Like,
right.
For the and they're like, oh, Chris Farley should be a Ghostbuster. Oh, Ben Stiller should be a Ghostbuster. Forever. I'm not saying that like forever they were championing Ben Stiller, for God's sake. I'm just saying that like there were these windows of time where there were these particular actors you could just slot in and go, just literally do Ghostbusters again, but it's new and it's in the same universe, and it's like, this is the new class. And you could set it in like Chicago or San Diego or like Austin.
I never did that. Just kept rolling with an SNL cast kind of thing.
It would make a lot of sense. It would have kept the franchise viable and alive. You could also have played with genre as a result. Like maybe one is more of a talkie movie. Maybe one's a really like grounded horror flick, but like the humor is through the actors and their reaction to it. I don't know. I'm not the head of Sony, thank God. So I don't like worry every day that I'm going to get fired. But like the surprisingly enough, my job's more stable. But these are the ideas, and I feel like this movie is a fun opportunity for them to like explore 3 different Ghostbusters franchises, play with the convention, because like, Vigo the Carpathian, the bad guy of Ghostbusters 2, nobody really likes him, but he was something else. It wasn't just Gozer again. And that's the problem with Afterlife. Afterlife was just, Gozer again? That's really weird. What a weird choice. Like you destroyed Gozer. We don't need that again. But they were like, Afterlife is so The Force Awakens, it's like not even funny. I think it's more Force Awakens than Force Awakens, honestly. I'm not like thrilled.
Trying to reboot, but not reboot at the same time.
Well, like just do it again. Do the same thing over there, like that we did 35, 40 years ago. And it's like,
right.
I appreciate that at least, like, look, if it leads me to a Ghostbusters 3, the Ghostbusters 3 that we were all promised decades ago, or a Ghostbusters continuation that is in spirit a successor, I'm fine with like these capitulation movies they have to make where they're like, we got to do a Force Awakens, where it's like, look at all the old people and they're wearing their old costumes and they're tired and they're too old to be doing this. Like, it's not like, I remember in Ghostbusters 2, the whole like plot is we're too old for this. We waited too long. It was 5 years between movies.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I think it took 5 years to get us from Ghostbusters Afterlife to this.
Well, let me ask you this. So I have not watched them recently, but I don't remember the End of the World. I know it's implied it's going to happen.
Yeah, End of the World is for both of those movies.
Right, right. It's the End of the World, but it's not. But because budget-wise, it's not on the scale of like, here's the whole New York being destroyed.
Nope. No, the first movie, like the End of the World's going to happen on this soundstage on top of this building.
Right, exactly.
The second one,
let's go.
The End of the World,
cycle, right? And then,
exactly.
And
The second one was like
the second one.
Exactly. It's like,
First
oh no, it's
Gozer.
Gozer, Vigo. The second one was like, oh no, it's the End of the World in this soundstage in a museum.
Yeah. So-
but like it could get bigger.
The budget's gotten bigger, obviously, because the last one was like, okay, the end of the world's gonna happen in this desert,
cornfield.
Yeah, this cornfield in the back of nowhere. And this one's like, okay, you guys want ghosts, but what if the end of the world is happening all over? Because that's the biggest thing I noticed from that trailer. They're not just in a podunk town in the middle of nowhere where they got filming rights for dirt.
No, they're in New York. They're
Yeah.
finally in Manhattan. We're shooting Ghostbusters the way it should be made. The thing is, every Ghostbusters movie has a pull back, see how the carnage is affecting New York City. Like,
But it's very small. Like I remember the first movie was like, here's Slimer in a library, so we only need to film one camera angle going this way, you know?
oh, it's very intimate, and the stakes are very like very specialized, but there's always at least 2 or 3 shots / moments, montages in both those movies where we see it spill over into the greater part of Manhattan. There's an entire extended sequence. Remember the zombie cab driver that takes the guy away in the first movie?
right.
Like there's the whole all of New York is completely overrun by ghosts in the first movie. In the first movie, second movie, same exact thing. And basically, because Ghostbusters 2 is Ghostbusters 1 again, but with a sillier villain. But like it's the same
I
thing.
also found funny that the primary plot right now is, but are ghosts real? Like
I know. I love that like the Ghostbusters are destroyed in Ghostbusters 2 because they were sued by everybody because like they blew up a building. But like everybody remembers the Marshmallow Man, right? Like I mean, you can't deny that there wasn't 100-foot Marshmallow Man. I think the idea, and it could be like something that they bring up because like, look, now it's been a lot longer of a stretch between ghost encounters. But I think they imply that the Ghostbusters don't actually shoot lasers. They actually like they induce hallucinations in the general public. And so like there was a belief that like they're shooting like a kind of gas or something, that they're making people see ghosts or think they're seeing ghosts. And so it's like it's not just you said there are ghosts, you roofied an entire city and made them and told them they had ghosts encountered, and like that's why you don't work anymore.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to bring up to you to kind of bring this down. So recently I was in Orlando, and the TV on the day I was recovering from a 14-hour drinking binge was playing all 3 Back to the Future movies.
Nice.
And so I was like, I'm sitting here watching all 3. Of course, I'm going to watch the Back to the But I was like,
so you described a typical Friday night for me. Yes.
Well, Saturday for me, but yes.
Fair.
And I was like, why did we never get Back to the Future 4? Why has there never been a studio remake or another attempt or whatever? So I Googled it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why they never did this with Ghostbusters. Or they kind of did, but obviously the studio had some stakes in it.
Right.
The reason is the writers made it so that you could not make another Back to the Future unless they were attached. They had to be fully attached to the project.
And
And
they were all on the same page. They were all like, and we'll never do it.
Right. And they were like, we'll never do it. We made 3 movies. It's a beginning, middle, and end, and we're done.
Yep. Yeah. It's a perfect trilogy. We don't need to screw this up.
So I don't know why Ghostbusters had a similar clause where they all had to at least approve or deny any follow-ups.
I don't know.
But obviously we got to the follow-ups.
Yeah, it was weird. And I think it's only because, I mean, like the company, the studio that owns Back to the Future wasn't as desperate as Sony. Because Sony is and always has for the last 25 years, maybe less, maybe more like 15, 20 years, been chasing a friend. They're like, we see ourselves as a Disney. Like we see ourselves as a home of franchises, and we should be able to like spin out. We should be trendsetters. We should be able to establish like what the current landscape of movies are, even though we have no business doing that. And and I think it's just because it's made up of a bunch of failed movie executives that came from bigger studios.
Right.
But it's like they were like, we want our franchise / interconnected movie universe because like that's where the billions come from. We don't make movies that make billions, and we deserve it. And it's just like, and Ghostbusters is one of those things where they were like, they saw the potential based on nothing, because this will be the worst performing video in the past like 6 months because Ghostbusters is just not popular.
Oh yeah, no, this is just a throwaway. But no one's gonna watch this. No one's gonna care about our opinion.
No, and I'm saying like the reason why is because Ghostbusters only appeals to a very narrow group of people that is aging out. Now, Sony's aware of this, which is why I think they're making 3 Ghostbusters in one movie.
Right.
But but obviously Sony miscalculated because I think they were like, look at the brand recognition, the instant recognizability. I mean, maybe the same thing with the Jurassic Park effect, because like Jurassic Park is one of those things where like I never saw Jurassic Park as a franchise. I saw it as a brilliant movie with 2 failed sequels, and then they were like, oh no, Jurassic Park has like instant brand recognition and universal appeal, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. And
I disagree with that. I do agree, but I don't think they knew how to spin it. The problem is the concept of Jurassic Park is very recognizable. The theme, the look, the dinosaurs,
100%, absolutely.
all of it. But I think the problem is the concept doesn't work past the first movie.
It can't.
Because
it's a park.
The concept of the first movie is that the idea failed so badly.
Yeah.
We can't do this again. And then you get to the second one, they're like, but we did it again.
Well, but at least the second one,
they did a second island, right?
Yeah, at least the second one isn't that they have to build this park again. Like Jurassic World, you can only get one of those because they built the park again,
and
it's
it
like
failed again.
And it failed again. You can't do a second one where it's like again. Like it's we're insured.
Well, at least they thought of that, because when they did it,
did.
The third movie, well, the Jurassic World franchise then moved into the concept of the dinosaurs got out.
Yes,
like,
and I
just couldn't get rid of them at that point.
That's actually a pretty fun idea that was executed horribly.
Yeah.
But that's all to say. And the only reason why I brought up Jurassic Park is because I think Sony's like, we have a Jurassic Park too. Because like, listen, if you were to compare Jurassic Park the movie to Ghostbusters the movie, as far as franchises go, they both have iconic logos that are instantly recognizable, that have like virtually no need for text. They both have like beloved casts that could come back at any point, because they haven't made it that, like, they made it big, but they haven't made it so big that they can say no. And they also have like a instant like nostalgia factor connected with an entire generation of viewers. Like, it makes perfect sense if you were to compare the two franchises and not think about how story works or how the audience is reacting or the fatigue of like the over blockbusterization of cinema. But I digress. So like Ghostbusters was resuscitated unnaturally, I think, as a franchise by Sony, because Sony's just so desperate to have that theirs. Like, this is going to be the thing. And I'm like, I'm here to tell you, man, I love Ghostbusters. I bought new old figures. I'm going to see these movies in the theater. I love Ghostbusters. I am, and I live and breathe Ghostbusters. Yeah. And I can tell you, it's not going to work.
No,
and I'll just enjoy it as far as you keep. If you want to keep throwing money at it, I'll keep watching it. But I'm here to tell you, it ain't a good business strategy.
I mean, there's a few movies that I loved as a kid that are like like Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Evil Dead franchise.
Totally.
Like, these are franchises that I 100% agree with you. That Transformers, even though they've never remade G1 Transform. It's the Michael Bay is a different thing. These are my childhood franchises that I'll go throw money at whatever you want to make, but. Other than Transformers, guys, these haven't done that well. Like,
no, like, I would never invest in these, but I'll buy them because, like, it's like somebody who's like, my business strategy is
Turtles is another one where you're like,
Turtles, another one
that's still going.
But that one, I don't know. But it would be like if the business strategy was like, I'm gonna every day I'm gonna come by your office and I'm gonna give you ice cream, and it's like, look, I will take the ice cream for as long as you give it to me. Yeah, but I'm not gonna pay you, but I'm not gonna invest in your business, because I know it's not economically viable.
Right.
At some point or another, the ice cream is going to stop coming. And I'll be sad. I'll be sad. And I'll be like, hey, do you guys remember that time when that business came by every effing week and gave us free ice cream? Like, yeah, and we'll remember it fondly, but like, we also recognize that it's just inherently not going to be economically viable. Yep. Now, look, if you want to make a Ghostbusters economically viable,
that reminds me, like, right next to there's a really tall hill right next to me.
Yeah.
And whoever, I don't know who, they spent billions of dollars turning it into a ski resort. It's still just a bunny hill, but there's like chairlift equivalents and all kinds of stuff. And my first thought is, we better go in the next 3 years, because there's no way this is going to survive.
I have a similar example: the American Dream Mall in New Jersey.
Yeah,
like when they open it, I'm like, we better go. We better go now.
Because it's not good. Who's like, here? It's like, okay, so Sal, we can go spend $60 to get on a bunny hill, or drive an hour and a half and go to a real mountain for $100.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna do that. But like, if it's around the corner for $15 for a little cheaper, hell yeah, I'll do that for as long as you gonna keep thinking that's a thing.
Yeah, well, in 2 days they reduced the price from $60 to $30.
Oh, that's
And I'm like, I'm literally at Dan every week. I'm like, we probably should go
every week. No,
I don't think this thing's gonna last. Like,
hell no. $30, half price. I'm going every week.
You
I'm
have
going every week.
the price in a week. That does not bode well.
Exactly. No, and look, you want to keep making Ghostbusters movies? I'll keep showing up to them.
Yep.
And I'm not going to complain at all. And there's people like my age or even younger who are like, remember when Ghostbusters didn't used to be a franchise? I'm like, nope, I don't. Because I had Ghostbusters bed sheets, I had Ghostbusters lunchboxes. Like it was always it was always
a cartoon show, always
literally
extra.
The first movie, in the movie, they're selling Ghostbusters t-shirts. Like it was always a franchise. So like, don't tell me that it's exploitative now. Now, do I think it's like elder abuse to have like 80-year-old men put on hilarious cartoon jumpsuits and run around like they're shooting ghosts? I mean, like, look, that's up to them. All right. and I never said I wanted to see them 100 years from now being Ghostbusters. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, wanted refreshes. I wanted new casts.
Yeah.
Like you guys are the ones who keep putting them in there, you know? So look, at some point or another, they're gonna have to like refresh or just decide it's not economically viable. And on that day, I'll be very sad. But for the meantime, I will go see Ghostbusters, what I'm calling Ghostbusters 4. Frozen Empire, easy to remember. It's an easy name to remember. I'm so glad they didn't get creative with it. Call it Let There Be Ghostbusters or some nonsense. It's just fine.
Still have time.
I'm going. Yeah, but I'm going. All right. I'll be there.
I hope you guys enjoyed our discussion about franchises in general. Let us know what you think about Ghostbusters, the 5 people who are going to watch this video.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys, because we're going to review Ghostbusters. I don't care.
Totally, we're going to talk about
channel
Ghostbusters.
style, we're talking about it.
Yeah, I'm writing off my Ghostbusters visit.
We'll see you guys next time right here.